Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Kyle Rittenhouse, the nut job who killed two Black Lives Matter protesters 7 years ago and got away with it, was rushed to the hospital after being bitten by a spider. Before I go any further, let's pay homage to the spider. I ain't got no problem with that. Spider out there trying to do God's work and lost his life on the battlefield. Yeah, fam, that's cold-blooded. Here's the story. Kyle Rittenhouse is rushed to the hospital after BLM protester shooter is bitten by a venomous spider. Gun rights activist Kyle Rittenhouse, who fatally shot two Black Lives Matter protesters in 2020, was hospitalized after being bitten by a venomous spider. That was 6 years ago. The 23-year-old shared photos from his hospital bed Wednesday and told his followers on social media that he was bitten by a brown recluse. The communists couldn't take me out, and I'll be damned if I let a brown recluse take me out, Rittenhouse said, along with images of himself attached to an IV and another showing the swollen bite marks. Rittenhouse boasted that the spider did not survive in a follow-up post. The spider, like the commies, also thought it was a good idea to come after me while I was armed, he said. It was not immediately clear when or where the incident took place. Disappointed I'm not Spider-Man now, the gun rights activist also joked. Brown recluse spiders, also known as violin or fiddleback spiders, are most commonly found in southern, western, and midwestern parts of the U.S., according to Columbia University's Irving Medical Center. Let's take a look at these pictures of his bite marks. So allegedly, this is where he got bitten at. I don't know, fam. Could be. I mean, I would expect some type of rise, right? There should be some type of bump or something, right? After being bit by a spider, but I don't know. This guy is a liar, so he could be just seeking attention. You know, probably just trying to get some money, get his hands on some more of that, bigotry money. You know what I'm saying? Because he played those conservatives like a violin with the fake crying and all of that. Yeah, I don't believe him. I don't trust him. If he did get bitten by a spider, my thing is, why couldn't it be a rattlesnake? You know, rattlesnakes, you can't get to the hospital in time. Rattlesnake, it do you in. This guy got away with murder, fam. Straight up murder. 17 years old at the time of the murder. Kyle Rittenhouse's mama bought him an AR-15 style rifle. In Kenosha, Wisconsin, he goes to a BLM protest and he's walking around with the rifle in front of police officers and they're not doing anything. He shoots two protesters dead. He takes off running. He runs right past the police. Somebody in the crowd tells the police, yo, he just killed somebody. The police like, and this is why I say, fam, you have to be careful when you go to these protests because it depends on what side you're on. If you're on the side of righteousness, the police gonna be against you. The police is always on the side of the establishment and the man, right? They're always on the side of the neo-Nazis, KKK, and all of these people, unless these people are attacking the government. And even then, January 6th, They're on their side. They're just not as aggressive as then let me put it like this. They're aggressive, but they're not as aggressive as they might be. Well, not might be, but would be against anybody else. If it was anybody else, they would be straight up killing them. So the police is always on the side of the establishment. They're never going to be on the side of goodness, right? So if that's the case and you're out there and you come up against one of these uncivilized mutts who got it on their mind, you're going to be put in a vulnerable position. You're going to be put at a disadvantage because not only do you have to fight that uncivilized mutt, you have to fight the police who's on his side. And if you get past that, you got to fight the judicial system. The judicial system is on the side of wickedness. The judicial system, yeah. See, this is what we get thrown off about the judicial system. We see the bad guy going to jail from time to time, right? We see the bad guy getting punished. Bad people get punished. But what happens with the bad people get punished is that oftentimes the bad people are being over prosecuted, depending on what their skin color is. But let's just talk about the bad people that nobody likes and we like, man, good riddance. Sometimes those bad people ain't really the bad people. Sometimes those bad people get railroaded. Sometimes they get lied on. Evidence is planted on them. And they end up in jail for the rest of their life. Sometimes they get executed. Innocent people sometimes get executed, right? Now that's a couple of categories, right? But what about the category of the judicial system that targets people for failure? The judicial system that targets people. You got judges, you got prosecutors, you got police officers who use the judicial system to do wrong. They use the judicial system to hurt people, to stuff their pockets, to get away sometimes with murder. Yeah. So it's no wonder a guy like Kyle Rittenhouse could gun down innocent people at a protest. Remember, that protest was against police brutality. It's against government overreach, right? It's against that. It's against the system. So now a person who kills somebody who's protesting against the system ends up in the system being tried. The deck is stacked. The prosecutor is already on his side. The prosecutor is just going through the motions. The prosecutor really don't want to punish him. The prosecutor is going through the motions. The judge is going through the motions. Even the jury is going through the motions because oftentimes they're going to pick that type of jury that will acquit. Trayvon Martin, anyone? Yeah, that's how they do. So this is the only reason why this type of dude is even known. And remember, I think they gave him he raised over $1 million. He killed 2 people and got $1 million out of it. This is why America ain't never going to be a safe place. America is never going to be a fair and equitable and inclusive place. Never. America would never be a harmonious place. Never, ever. It will never be come a time in America where America becomes a post-racial place. The only way that could happen is boom. It's got to be a reset, a total reset. You can't dismantle the system because in order to dismantle the system, it takes one or two things. It takes the people who's running it to dismantle it, or it takes the people who's being affected by it to overthrow it. And neither one of those is going to happen. So a reset has to happen. You got to hit that reset button. Like, that's the only way, unfortunately. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.